In the spelling of Hebrew and some other Semitic languages, matres lectionis refers to the use of certain consonants to indicate a vowel. The letters that do this in Hebrew are aleph, he, waw, and yod. The yod and waw in particular are more often vowels than their consonants. In Arabic, the matres lectionis are alif, waw, and ya. History. Because the scripts used to write some Semitic languages lack vowel letters, unambiguous reading of a text might be difficult. Therefore, to indicate vowels, consonant letters are used. For example, in the Hebrew construct state from bet, meaning the house of, the middle letter in the spelling acts as a vowel, but in the corresponding absolute state from bayat, which is spelled the same letter represents a genuine consonant. Matres lectionis are found in Ugaritic, Moabite, South Arabian and the Phoenician alphabets, but they are widely used only in Hebrews, Aramaic, Syriac and Arabic. Hebrew. The earliest method of indicating some vowels in Hebrew writing was to use the consonant letters yod, waw, he, and aleph of the Hebrew alphabet to also write long vowels in some cases. Originally, and were only at the end of words, and were used mainly to write the original diphthongs, or and jet, as well as original vowel plus vowel sequences. Gradually, as it was found to be insufficient for differentiating between similar nouns, and were also inserted to mark some long vowels of non-diphthongal origin. If words can be written with or without matres lectionis, spellings that include the letters are called malapline, meaning full, and spellings without them are called hazer or defective. In some verb forms, matres lectionis are almost always used. Around the 9th century CE, it was decided that the system of matres lectionis did not suffice to indicate the vowels precisely enough for purposes of liturgical recitation of biblical texts, so a supplemental vowel pointing system joined matres lectionis as part of the Hebrew writing system. In some words in Hebrew, there is a choice of whether to use a matre lectionis or not, and in modern printed texts, matres lectionis are sometimes used even for short vowels, which is considered to be grammatically incorrect according to traditional norms, but instances are found as far back as Talmudic times. Such texts from Israel were noticeably more inclined to male spellings than texts from Babylonia. Similarly, in the Middle Ages, Ashkenazi Jews tended to use male spellings under the influence of European languages, but Sephardi Jews tended to use hazer spellings under the influence of Arabic. In Arabic there is no such choice, and the almost invariable rule is that a long vowel is written with a matre lectionis on a short vowel with a diacritic symbol. But the Uthmanic orthography, the one in which the Quran is traditionally written and printed, has some differences, which are not always consistent. Also, under influence from orthography of European languages, transliterating of borrowed words into Arabic is usually done using vowels in place of diacritics, even when the latter is more suitable, or when words from another Semitic language, such as Hebrew, are transliterated. That phenomenon is augmented by the neglect of diacritics in most printed forms since the beginning of mechanical printing. Informal orthographies of spoken varieties of Arabic also use ha to indicate a shorter version of alif, a usage augmented by the ambiguity of the use of ha and taa marbutha. Informal Arabic orthography. It is a formal orthography in other languages that use Arabic script, such as Kurdish alphabets. Syriac Aramaic vowels are classified into three groups: the aleph, the waw, and the yod. The matre lectionis was developed as early as the 6th century to represent long vowels, which were earlier denoted by a dot under the line. The most frequent ones of the yod and the waw, while the aleph is mostly restricted to some transliterated words. Usage in Hebrew. Most commonly, yod indicates I or E, while waw indicates OU. Aleph was not systematically developed as a mater lectionis in Hebrew, but it is occasionally used to indicate a vowel. At the end of a word, he can also be used to indicate that a vowel should be pronounced. Examples: origins and development. Historically, the practice of using matres lectionis seems to have originated when j and or diphthongs, written with the yod and the waw consonant letters respectively, monophthongized to simple long vowels e and o. This epiphenomenal association between consonant letters and vowel sounds was then seized upon and used in words without historic diphthongs. In general terms, it is observable that early Phoenician texts have very few matres lectionis, and that during most of the first millennium BCE, Hebrew and Aramaic were quicker to develop matres lectionis than Phoenician. However, in its latest period of development in North Africa, Phoenician developed a very full use of matres lectionis, including the use of the letter *ion, also used for this purpose much later in Yiddish orthography. In pre-exilic Hebrew, there was a significant development of the use of the letter he to indicate word final vowels other than I and U. This was probably inspired by the phonological change of the third-person singular possessive suffix from ahu and gt or and gto in most environments. However, in later periods of Hebrew, the orthography was changed so word final o was no longer written with the letter he. The difference between the spelling of the third-person singular possessive suffix with he in early Hebrew versus with waw in later Hebrew has become an issue in the authentication of the Jehoash inscription. According to Sass, already in the Middle Kingdom there were some cases of matres lectionis, i.e. consonant graphemes which were used to transcribe vowels in foreign words, namely in Punic, Aramaic, and Hebrew. Nava notes that the earliest Aramaic and Hebrew documents already used matres lectionis. Some scholars argue that the Greeks must therefore have borrowed their alphabet from the Aramaeans. However, the practice has older roots, as the Semitic cuneiform alphabet of Ugarit already had matres lectionis. Influence on other languages. Later, in some adaptations of the Arabic alphabet and of the Hebrew alphabet, matres lectionis were generally used for all or most vowels, thus in effect becoming vowel letters. See Yiddish orthography. This tendency was taken to its logical conclusion in fully alphabetic scripts such as the Greek, Roman, and Cyrillic alphabets. Many of the vowel letters in such languages historically go back to matres lectionis in the Phoenician script. For example, the letter I was originally derived from the consonant letter yod. Similarly, the vowel letters in Avestan were adapted from matres lectionis in the version of the Aramaic script used for Pahlavi. Bibliography. Gesenius's Hebrew Grammar, Section 7. Gar. W. Randall, 1985. Dialect Geography of Syria-Palestine, 1586 B.C.E. Philadelphia, University of Pennsylvania Press. Jensen, Hans, 1970. Sign, symbol and script. London, George Allen and Unwin Limited. Transl. Of Die Schrift in Vergangenheit und Gegenwart. VEB Deutsche Verlag der Wissenschaften. 1958, as revised by the author. Nava, Joseph, 1979. Die Entstehung des Alphabets. Transl. Of Origins of the Alphabet. Zurich und Köln. Benziger, Sass Benjamin, 1991. Studia Alphabetica, on the origin and early history of the Northwest Semitic, South Semitic and Greek alphabets. C. H. Freiburg, Universitätsverlag Freiburg, Schweiz. Göttingen, Vandenhoeken am Ruprecht.